Given this incredibly tumultuous week that we've lived through, if you're at all interested in politics, current events, what's going on in the United States election, etc., I wanted to make a statement, a comment in regards to that we gotta listen to each other. It's just been amazing to me as I've taken a look at the different media stations in the United States and Canada, and their reporting, and then some of the politicians, and clearly the tweets that are coming out of the White House versus the comments that are coming out of the Democratic Party, etc. It is as if we have two completely different realities that are coexisting beside one another. One is the urban, suburban, coastal cities in the United States that are primarily Democratic, primarily multi-ethnic, multiracial, etc. And then the middle of the country that is primarily white, primarily Republican, primarily conservative, primarily non-urban. And they're living in two different worlds. I've been watching Fox News versus CNN and MSNBC and ABC and CBS, and it's two different worlds. The commentary, the even the news anchors and reporters that are supposed to be objective, they report things in a completely different slant. And this whole attitude toward what's happening with votes, and it's almost as if there's this desire to win at all costs and not believe in the power of democracy. I went and back and I commented yesterday about popular vote versus the way the electoral system works. And I went back and checked what the turnout is across the country. And the turnout in some of the states that are predominantly either Democrat, New York, New Jersey, California, or Republican in the middle of the state, get down below 40%, while the turnout in the battleground states is above 65%, which proves that when you think that your vote doesn't count, you don't bother showing up. And so therefore we've got to figure out a system where everyone thinks their vote counts. And this popular vote that's gone to Biden probably would be far greater if California and New York were competitive, or it was a popular vote that counted to electing the presidency, because then every vote would count and lots more people would come out. But the exit polls that showed that people that voted for Trump thought the economy was the by far number one issue, and COVID-19 was down at the bottom, and race relations was not issue at all, versus the Democrat Biden voters that thought that race relations was the number one issue in the United States, COVID-19 a very close second, and the economy was a concern, but it was way down the list. And it shows, and on so many other issues, the two solitudes are talking at each other, are yelling at each other, and aren't listening to each other. And it's a problem. The media are echo chambers where they listen to themselves and talk to themselves, and it appears that no one is listening to the other side. And it comes back to when I was playing sports, football, hockey, soccer, etc. We competed hard. And we loved the competition. And the competition was what made us better and stronger and strive for perfection. But at the end of the game, we shook hands. And then often we would change teams and shuffle players. And you got to, become best friends and buddies with someone who was an opponent a little while ago. We were never enemies. How did it become in politics that people that are our competitors, that are frankly within our own countries, whether it's in Canada and you're talking about liberals and conservatives and New Democrats and Greens, or it's in the United States, Democrats and Republicans. When did we get to this situation where they were no longer competitors, but became enemies? They're not enemies. They're our brothers and sisters in our common endeavor in our country to build a better future. They have a different opinion, and they believe different politics, and the different politics at times is not all that different. And yet for some reason we treat them like enemies, and it's astounding to me. And we don't listen. And I think what we talked about in the French and English solitudes in Canada, where people from English Canada need to go live with French Canadians, and that was one of the things people did in high school, and the people from Quebec had to come and live with English families for a summer and immerse themselves in different cultures. Maybe that needs to happen between liberals and conservatives and Democrats and Republicans. We got to go to the different parts of our country and experience what what their realities are, what their beliefs are, what their policies are. And we've got to start reading each other's newspapers and listening to each other's media casts. And, where has the objective media gone? I don't even know sometimes whether the media, because it's so opinionated at times. What is the objective media? So I've got to tell you, I'm very disturbed by what looks like people have turned what should be a competition for political power between opponents into a war almost between enemies, where there isn't a desire to be better, but a desire to not even defeat, but destroy your opponent, your enemy. And we've got to get over this. We've got to solve this problem if we're going to have better countries. And frankly, maybe this is part of the attitude in the last couple of years between the United States and its allies, where they used to be friends and they became, trading partner competitors. And we treated each other with too much disdain. Anyway, my appeal to you all, and it's come from too much TV this week, watching the U.S. election returns and studying the difference in the polls and the exit polls and the results in the media, is everyone go back to that. What was it? The 7 secrets. First, seek to understand before you seek to be understood. Or what Jimmy Patterson used to tell me all the time. Brian, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So we listen twice as much as we talk. Or what someone else told me and said, no, you got it wrong. God gave us a mouth that can close and ears that never close. So we're always listening, but we can choose when we speak. Let's listen to each other, everybody. Thank you. Good night.